All praises to the Almighty, majestic Creator of all things, my loving Heavenly Father, and the horrible and terrible one to your enemies. Yeah, you guys, we're going to talk this morning about when black mixed with red. These people these people in their tradition knew better than this, but they allowed it to happen. And just months later, we're going to look at the timeline of what happened to these people. And we're going to see why there's a spiritual significance. And the Most High wants us to pay attention to what's going on, okay? These people look at everything as blessings and curses. So I believe they know why too. But we're going to pray that the Most High forgive them for this iniquity and sin that they committed against the laws of their own people and allow this colonizer to come into their lands. Okay, so let's look a little bit at the home team.
Pretty uncertain. However, some scholars believe that their ancestors migrated to the Rift Valley from what is now southern Sudan sometime before 1000 CE. These migrants practiced an agro-pastoral economy, growing sorghum and millet in addition to keeping cattle and other livestock. Most of them gradually adopted a strictly pastoral economy as they became dependent upon neighboring farming communities in the Rift Valley highlands. At its height, Maasai land ranged from Lake Turkana in the north to central Tanzania in the south. The Maasai have many oral traditions, but one of the primary ones speak about Naiteru. Naiteru is the originator of the Maasai people, if you will. Naiteru means beginner of the earth in Maasai. According to one version of the legend, the supreme god Ngai created Naiteru and his wife. Ngai then summoned Naiteru and his wife to the top of a mountain. Ngai gave them a cattle and told them to live on the mountain, and thus life began. Another version says after creation, Ngai sent Ntaru and his wife to live on earth with a few hundred cattle, goats, and sheep. Ngai entrusted all the bounty of earth to this first couple on one condition. They were commanded to guard all of nature and keep it well to pass it on to future generations. Naiteru and his wife had 3 sons and 3 daughters. The oldest son was given a bow and arrow with which to earn his living. He in turn became a hunter. This hunter is seen as a direct ancestor of the Kamba people. The second son was given a hoe with which to earn his living, and he became a farmer. This farmer is seen as a direct ancestor of the Kikuyu people. The third son, Lieo, was given a rod with which to earn his living. He used the rod to drive his father's cattle. Lieo became a herder and is seen as a direct ancestor of the Maasai people. The Maasai believe in one supreme god mentioned before as Ngai. This supreme god is androgynous, meaning both male and female. Ngai's primordial dwelling is located in northern Tanzania, and he created the forests, mountains, lowlands, and highlands. Natural forces such as rain, thunder, drought, and lightning act as gifts or punishments from Ngai. The Maasai god appears in 2 manifestations. Ngai.
Okay, he said that they look at nature, the things of nature, and how it's affecting them as blessings or curses, okay? So right now, the Maasai, I'm sure they're looking at those Arabs that's ripping off their land. I'm sure they're looking at them as a curse. Now, why? Let's go to the next video, okay? And we're going to, let's go further into this video because we need to see what these people are like. I've noticed some things about these people that needs to come out. So let's just go further into this video.
Noruk, characterized by goodness and benevolence, is black, whereas Ngai and Yoki, the angry one, is red, like the British colonizers who disrupted Maasai life.
Ooh, y'all hear that?
Ngai Noruk is associated with the north and presides over rain, fertility, the sun, and love matters, whereas Ngai and Yoki is associated with the south and a vengeful attitude and behavior. Cattle is considered by the Maasai to be the greatest gift God has ever
They
given
sent
humanity.
that
In a
woman
sense, cattle
in.
possess the qualities of
Ooh.
God and attest to God's greatness and generosity. Through the consumption of meat and the drinking of milk, God and human beings become one again. Thus, meat eating and milk drinking through their
Okay, now one thing I noticed about this tribe, they do not look like they have been mixing with the colonizers at all. They do not look like they're mixed in any way, okay? And you just heard what was said about the black and the red and who the red was. It's almost like a Samson and Delilah story again. How are these people still preserved, their culture still preserved on such a beautiful, rich land for so many centuries? They sent that woman in because they knew that that would bring a curse on these people. Okay, let's listen a little bit more.
creation of this primordial unity are religious experiences of the highest order. The consumption of meat and milk occur at the most important times in Maasai life, such as birth,
Look at
initiation
their
and
clothes, look
circumcision,
at their
marriage
skin.
and death, and on all critical occasions like rites of passage from one age set to the next. The Maasai were reputed to be fierce and disciplined warriors who could effectively
Look
defend
at
their
her.
territory and stock, or raid the
She
stock of
don't
other
look like
groups.
she have
Trading caravans from
a
coastal
drop
areas
of
were
European
wary enough.
blood in her.
Turned out to be a
Let's listen to
This
a few
story is
minutes
completely
of this
illogical and full of
colonizer's
contradictions.
story.
Once upon a time, a business owner woman from Switzerland saw a Maasai warrior on a ferry. She fell in love, left her fiance and her comfortable life behind,
Look at
and
him,
moved
look
to
at
Kenya
her.
to marry this warrior. Watch this video to find out what happened next. Corinne Hoffman was born in Switzerland into an ordinary family. Her life was easy and predictable. She studied at a religious school, then opened her own wedding dress shop.
She went to
Marco
Kenya
pointed
with
out
her
a Maasai warrior
boyfriend
who was aboard
when
with
she
them to
met the
Corinne.
prince.
His features were so regular, so beautiful that it could be a woman's face, but his demeanor, a proud look and a muscular body, convinced me otherwise. I couldn't
The
take my
devil
eyes off of
sent
him.
her
Sitting
there,
in the rays of the
okay?
setting sun, he looked like a
The devil made that happen, okay? Because he knew that the strength of those people lied in their DNA. And it was in their culture that they were black and the reds were the colonizers, okay? And that they don't believe the same. They're not the same. They should not mix with those people. So basically, when he mixed that black with that red blood, it brought curses on because they were able to preserve their way of life, reserve their bloodlines, keep the colonizers off of their land, protect all the animals, because that was one of the things that they were created to do.
A young warrior named Lekatinga Lebermarijo impressed the woman so much that she literally went crazy over him. She started panicking, trying to figure out how she could see him again. Let's take a look at this handsome
Panicking,
man
honey.
together.
She was obsessed.
Actually, even from the book The White Maasai written by Corinne herself, it's hard to understand what exactly it was that impressed her so much. Maybe it was because her
Succubus.
boyfriend was a bit on the smaller side and didn't adorn himself with such beautiful beads. But the fact remains, the woman was so smitten with this man that in just a couple of days she broke up with her fiance, and 6 months later she sold her store and returned to Kenya to reunite with her warrior. And that's where all the fun begins.
All the
Much to
fun,
Corinne's
honey.
dismay, she found
Look
out
at
that
her
the
ass.
European and Maasai versions
What
of
in the
love
hell
were
did he
somewhat
see in
different.
her?
The Maasai believe that kissing is disgusting, that the
See?
mouth is given to people for food, and they don't
But he
know how to
kissing her
make love
ass.
and don't pay attention to their partners at all. Moreover, there are more restrictions in this matter than pleasure. But her love was so strong that even this fact didn't scare the woman away.
See, she
The
telling
lovers were supposed
all
to
the
live in a small
business,
house made of dry
honey.
cow manure, twigs, and God knows what else. They had to wash in the river and use the bushes for a bathroom.
Oh my
Corinne didn't even get a
gosh.
chance to impress Lekatinga with her culinary skill because men and women in the Maasai tribe eat separate.
You see how she did that, man? Oh, I just have to have him. Oh, now she gets him. She goes into their culture and she comes out talking about the most personal, private thing. I bet nobody knew about nothing about the Maasai's sensual ways. And she might be lying, okay? And maybe he didn't want her white, unmelanated behind. Maybe that was it, because I'm sure that these people don't talk about each other's love life, you know. My goodness. Her unmelanated, unshapely, ugly ass, recessive genes that say, what?
And moreover, men can't eat anything a woman has touched or even looked at. So Likatinga only ever drank tea in the presence of his
They
wife.
probably
All these
made that
intricacies were
rule. I'm sorry, you guys. I'm sorry. But they don't even eat anything a woman touched. And that might have been just for this colonizer right here. It might be a part of their culture. Or they probably said, man, don't eat nothing she cooked. Don't eat nothing she touched. You cannot trust her. If she come in this tribe, you better not eat anything that she touched. And none of the men.
explained to Corinne by her friend Priscilla, a woman from the tribe that Corinne got into. To top it all off, Likatinga, like many Maasai people, used illicit substances and chewed mireya, a herb known for its intoxicating effect on the mind. Getting married also turned out to be a difficult task because Likatinga didn't have a passport.
Look at her.
But bureaucratic troubles didn't scare away the Swiss woman in love. Eventually, Corinne got a Kenyan citizenship and got her wedding, although by the
She
standards
got
of
her
Maasai,
wedding,
Corinne
honey.
was already
Okay,
too
so now
old for it.
let's move a little
She was
forward
27
here.
years old. Then, Corinne opened a small grocery store, and everything could have turned out well if it weren't for Likatinga's habit of giving out food on credit, and then forgetting about it. Living
Because
in
that's how they
conditions without normal
live.
food,
That's how the barterers live. They don't pay money for it. Believe me, she had her bell peppers out there, and they had their potatoes, or they had their meat. That's how they do it. See, ooh, this
and the ability to wash
colonizer.
up, Corinne still didn't give up. She suffered from malaria, but survived thanks to a white friend whom she met at the very beginning of her trip. If her friend
Did
hadn't
they
found
say a
Corinne
white
in the
friend?
hospital, she would have most probably died.
Did they say a white
Then Corinne and
friend?
Likatinga had a daughter, Napira.
That's
And
what
the boy even
happened.
seemed to be a great father at first, but it didn't last long. Sometime
Now
later,
he ain't a
Likatinga
great
said the
father.
child wasn't his. He started getting jealous more and more often, while other men of the tribe started discussing who would marry Corinne's daughter, even though she wasn't even a year old at the time. It was then that the woman realized that the love had passed, and it was time to save
You see
herself and her
that?
daughter from these unbearable
You see
conditions.
that? They try to make them seem like they
One day, having gone home
pedophiles.
for a visit, Corinne...
So now we see where they slandered these people. She slandered them, their whole culture. She slandered that man personally, sexually. She slandered the way the tribe lives. She slandered the way that they work out in the marketplace. She's a slanderer to make these people appear as though that they are impoverished, they're not worth anything. So, it's just a waste. Go ahead, do. She was just like Delilah. They had the protection of the Most High over them. Ooh, we made the Most High forgive them for letting that colonizer into their tribe and bring that curse on. We ask you, Father, to have mercy on the Maasai people for what happened with this. I'm going to go back to this menu because now she left. Now, okay, listen. Look at the timeline on your screen. It says 4 months ago. 4 months ago.
Of Tanzania's
As
Maasai
soon as
people
Delilah
have fled their
left,
ancestral
this
lands.
is what
It is
happened.
understood authorities have unleashed the full power of the military to drive the Maasai out. The Tanzanian government allegedly wants to use the land for conservation zones and trophy hunting. Many have been
Wait a
injured by
minute.
gunshots.
Conservation zones and trophy hunting. That's two of the opposite. You got conservations where saving the lives of the wildlife, and trophy hunting, that's the total opposite. That's that black and red again, honey.
Is refusing to treat the injured, we are told. For more on
They
this,
won't
I'm
even,
joined now
ooh,
by
they
our
shot him, won't
correspondent,
even treat
Isabel
him.
Nakiria, who joins us now for an update from Kampala in Uganda. So as you are watching this situation, Isabel, it's a situation that's been sort of a bit of a standoff over the last few days, developing slowly and, coming into picture, into full view. What is our understanding of what's at the heart of the dispute between the government and the Maasai people in that area of Loliondo, I believe it's called, in Ngorongoro region?
It's true, about 150,000 Maasai pastoralists are facing eviction from the government. We also have to note that there have been multiple talks between the government and the Maasai warriors, and we know that about 100,000 of these people had agreed to move or relocate to a different area, but also there's pressure mounting from the rest of the group that did not agree to move. But it's also worth noting that part of this Loliondo Forest Reserve has been allocated to a foreign hunting company from the United Arab Emirates called the Otalu Business Corporation.
Murderers.
And so there is a delicate balance between leaving the Maasai warriors who have been living in this area for quite a long
I have a sneaking suspicion that it's all about the uncovering of Eden's wealth. The Ugandans just found $20 trillion in a gold deposit in their country. Last year in the Congo, they also found a mountain of gold. Now these people are saying that they're a hunting company. I believe that's a big old front. They want to come in and they want to ravish and steal everything that they find, because these wealthy deposits of gold and precious jewels are being uncovered in Eden. But there is curses that come along with it. They took the people of Congo, they went back in there and forcefully took much of that gold from the natives there. And believe me, everybody that took it, every country that took that gold from those people, they're suffering. It's natural disasters and judgments going all over this world. So I believe it's a big old trick. They want to come in and they want to steal the wealth of Eden that's recently being uncovered over there. But the Most High has a host, honey, and we're going to look at a couple of the members of his host that do fighting for him. Let's listen to Abdullah Seer as he reads about them. And then I'm going to show you who they are.
Easily slay a lion. And Rabbi Yehoshua said to Caesar this: our God is compared, is likened not to just any ordinary lion, but to the tiger, who we consider the lion of the heavenly forest. Caesar said, I wish to see one. Show it to me. Rabbi Yehoshua said, it is so fierce that you will not be able to so much as to look at it. So he's trying to deter him a little bit, right? But Caesar, he's a little prideful. So Caesar said, I insist, nevertheless. All right. Rabbi Yehoshua prayed to the Creator to bring one forth. And instantly, the tiger was conjured from his place in the spirit realm. When it approached within 400 miles of the earth, the lion roared once, and all the pregnant women of Rome miscarried, and all the walls of Rome collapsed. When the tiger approached within 300 miles of the earth, the teeth of all the men of Rome fell out, and Caesar himself fell from his throne. I beg of you, cried Caesar, please ask your God to restore this creature to his place. Rabbi Yehoshua prayed to the Creator, and the tiger returned.
So as we enter into the 5D, let us look at all of these things as a lesson. The Maasai people has been reserved as long as they kept separated from the red. As soon as they meshed in and mixed up with the red, their defenses was lowered. They didn't have the protection of the Most High anymore, and the colonizers desired to get the treasures and wealth that is being uncovered in Eden. But they cannot have that. If they take any part of it, they're taking curses with them, and that's why the world is being destroyed now. May the Most High forgive the Maasai people, and may He restore His protection upon them and fight their battles. Okay, you guys, Shalom, Hebrew Widow out.